time is flying. I have to calculate it very clearly, and I encourage now the non-economists to also ask questions. Maybe we can take 5 questions. One at the corner, please.
Okay.
Yes. My name is Auguste Umar. I have a simple question. I'm just wondering if we regulate the credit market properly, are we sure that we are not going to see such a crisis anymore? Or the issue is more complex? I'm asking because regulations like Basel II have been around for a while.
Unfortunately, I think I have problem hearing. I didn't hear the question.
Regulations which would prevent the reoccurrence of the same crisis or a crisis of this magnitude, especially regarding Basel II, you know, the international regulation of
Look, I don't know if I fully understood the question, but clearly whatever regulations, whatever improvement we have in the regulatory environment will not be the last improvement that you will need. In other words, by definition, regulations are imperfect. So then you'll have to be constantly looking how to improve them and what is left out of account. And also, financial markets participants are famous for circumventing regulations, so it is a cat and mouse game that will go on for a long time. I don't know if that was the question or not.
Yeah, that's what we
yeah. Maybe it will go forever. Yes, ma'am. Name and short question, please.
My name is Katalin Zoltagyi, and I am from...
Speak up, please. It has to be on.
My name is Katalin Zoltagyi, and I'm from TV2, and my question is to Mr. Soros is that what do you think, what are the greatest challenges for the newly elected American president in resolving the financial crisis and the global recession, and how long does it take?
Well, it is the big challenge confronting him, and how long it takes will very much depend on what measures he proposes. So you cannot predict the future because the future depends on what the people do in the future. So there's no way to predict what he's going to do, and therefore you can't predict, how long this crisis will last. But it will certainly be a severe crisis. It already is right now, because with the collapse of Lehman, the economic activity really kind of almost came to a standstill in America, in Brazil. Hungary was affected, and so on. So inevitably, I would say you'll have at least a year and a half. But whether it will be 10 years or not, that depends on how the authorities, and particularly the leadership that President Obama, will be able to exercise.
Okay. Our student there. Students should also have a time.
My question is, what's major consequences for the international relations, international politics, this global crisis have, if it will have any?
Well, no, it's tremendous effect, because you've had a tremendous decline in America's power and influence in the world in the 8 years of the Bush administration, and this crisis, which did not originate in America, so that's the
Yet another question.
Has also, I think, had the effect of reducing the financial power and influence, because the global financial system was under the control of Washington consensus. And in fact, the Washington consensus has failed. and so a new consensus has to come up, and it has to be a more balanced, reflecting the changes. Specifically, I think China has 3% in the, I've just used numbers, in the IMF voting. Belgium maybe has 4%.
The Benelux
But more
countries taken
importantly,
together have more than China.
Yeah.
The Benelux countries taken together, small three, has more voting power than China.
and more importantly, the United States has veto, and I think that is not sustainable.
Okay. You wanted to ask a question? No, you? Yeah.
So my name is Alisa Bekala. I'm from Legal Studies Department. I'm very glad to be here and to enjoy your lecture. But my question is that I read your article a little bit, and I understood that the globalization of financial market was one of the main and important reasons for such negative effects. So my question is, if globalization turned out to be so negative, does it mean that we should turn our focus from globalization of financial markets onto something else, for example, centralization of financial markets?
You mean whether we should keep markets globalized or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, certainly globalization or international trade, international capital brings great benefits. So if they could be preserved, would be very desirable. It's obviously not unalloyed benefits, and therefore it has to be improved. There is a very definite disparity between the position of the periphery countries and the countries at the center, particularly the United States, of the global financial system as it is currently constituted. And unless better care is taken, or better the periphery countries are treated more equally, and this is a very pressing issue right now. I think the system, as we know it, cannot continue, because what happened in the aftermath of Lehman Brothers and this meltdown, cardiac arrest, basically the United States and first Europe and then the United States basically guaranteed the banks against failure, and indirectly the bank depositors against losing their money. And the countries at the periphery are not in a position to make the same commitment. Their commitment is not credible. And that has created a flight from those markets to the center, which is what has been going on. And Brazil, for instance, which had been doing fabulously well, suddenly the currency dropped 40% and so on. So unless a way is found to protect the periphery countries equally and to enable them to engage in fiscal stimulus to stimulate domestic demand in order to get out of the recession or depression, the system will not survive. So that is a challenge, and there's a meeting this coming week. We will see what comes of it.